What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingDudes.com. Welcome back to another week of the Kentucky Derby update. I said last week we'd have a lot to talk about, and we do. We'll recap what happened in the Remsen. I'll give you my updated top five. Brand new this week, John White's top five. He sent me a lot of commentary as well. I'll read through a little bit of that. Well, all of that actually for you. And then I wish we could preview the Los Alamitos Futurity. It won't draw until well after this video is complete. However, there will be a full preview of the Los Alamitos Futurity when they do get around to drawing that race. We'll have that up at Racing Dudes. So can't really preview what's coming up because of that, but certainly can talk about what happened last week. And look, the Los Alamitos Futurity, look at that video when it does come out, because it has been a race. While maybe at times you go, field of 4, 5, 6 horses, not that big a deal, but there's been some good ones, including Journalism last year, ending his 2-year-old season right there in that race. All right. Enough of that. Let's talk about what happened last week first. We'll get to that, and it is the Remsen Stakes, what we will focus on. And it was a really good race, like I thought it would be. Interesting how it developed. So Paladin ended up winning the race. I think if you watched this video last week or the preview of the Remsen Stakes last week, I was super excited for Paladin and Renegade, and so they ran 1-2. So obviously pretty excited about this race. I really love Paladin, what he did here. You know, the first race, he was kind of on the outside, stalking the pace, no dirt in his face, not that big a deal, you know, pretty ideal trip. This was not a bad trip by any stretch for Paladin, but he was in behind horses this time. If you kind of look at maybe the heading picture that I'm going to put on this video, or maybe go to the website and look at the picture that I post, he had a lot of dirt. So he took dirt, he raced inside of horses, and he's still able to get the job done here. But why I said this is really interesting how it unfolded. Renegade made the move first. If you remember the maiden race, it was Paladin that made the move, and Renegade tries to run him down. In this race, Irad Ortiz makes I think it was an early move on Renegade. He kind of made we'll just circle the field. Paladin's trapped. We're just going to circle the field and win here. Would have worked. However, Paladin was not trapped. And so Renegade gets the lead. He's the leader at the top of the stretch, and it's Paladin that's got to run him down this time. And he does so, pretty easily, a 2-length win. Once Paladin got out, it's like, okay, he's out. Now will he fire? And then when he started to fire, you could tell that he was going better than Renegade. Renegade does get second in the race. I thought he ran very, very well. One thing I want to mention about Renegade, and I'll mention it a little bit later as well, he did miss a work. And Todd Pletcher, if you handicapped the race, you saw that it was almost like, I wonder if he's going to scratch. Then he got to work in after the draw, or maybe the day of the draw, and then boom, he's in the race, and he ran great to get second. But Todd Pletcher mentioned that Renegade missed a work, and perhaps that really kind of showed itself in the last 100 yards of that race. Maybe that he wouldn't have been quite as tired, or maybe he would have kicked on a little bit harder and made that race closer. We'll never know. Now, look, it could also just be an excuse. But here's the deal. Keep that in the back of your mind, because the maiden race, they were right there together. In this race, they were 2 lengths apart. Could that gap have narrowed if Renegade kind of had that normal work pattern? So keep that in mind. Remember that. File it away, because let's face it, they may not meet again in the prep season. They kind of maybe are going to different areas, but they're going to meet again down the road. They're both based here with New York trainers. So just kind of keep that in mind as we go along. And but anyway, good second for Renegade. I thought he was very good. Did want to note that for you. Go down just a few of these other ones. I thought Balboa, this is a very, very, very interesting situation here. I thought he ran a really nice third in this spot. A horse that was with Bob Baffert, and whether it be the owners or Bob Baffert, I don't know who makes the decision, but a lot of times when a horse is with Baffert and they disappoint, they kick it over to Brittany Russell there at Laurel Park, and she has great success with the horse a lot of times, I should say, and sometimes not, but a lot of times she'll have great success running them in that Mid-Atlantic circuit. And it's just a situation where they kind of deem, hey, this horse isn't good enough to run here in California. But you go down to Laurel, he or she is still a nice horse, and they'll have success there. That's what Balboa did. The first race there at Laurel Park, he ran very well. I think he won by, I don't know, it was an easy race for him, 6-7 lengths. And then I mentioned, okay, it'll be interesting because he looked really good there. And he looked really good early in his career for Bob Baffert. It was just 2 races where the wheels fell off the horse. Gets to the Remsen, okay, we're up against deeper competition. What happens? Horse ran very well, got third. So keep Balboa in mind. I don't know what Brittany Russell will do. I don't know the plans, but I think he ran well enough to get back on the Kentucky Derby trail, so to speak. And does he go back to Baffert? I doubt it. I think they'll keep him right here with Brittany Russell. Courting gets fourth. We talked at nauseum about Courting, a very well-bred horse, $5 million purchase. This is a green horse, right? He just is. At the top of the stretch, I was like, oh my gosh, Courting's going to run 8th or 9th. He was backing up. Then he got going again. Johnny Velasquez, according to Todd Pletcher, he told Todd Pletcher after the race, really didn't enjoy the kickback whatsoever. But again, that's something I think you can learn. Either next time he gets kicked back, he's a little bit better about it, or just, hey, keep him away if he hates it. So he's learning. He's getting better. This is not a horse that was 4th because he was tired. He just was running in spots out there, and that's been what he's done. So this horse can go long. There's no question about it. It's just a matter of getting him a little bit more focused. We'll see if Todd Pletcher can do it. Grittiness ran an okay 5th at a huge number. Igniter was 6th in this race. I thought he was just kind of maybe got a little bit tired. I think the big kind of headliner here, 3rd to last, was Talkin', a horse that ran 2nd, in the Champagne, although beaten many links, but did win on debut. Ran 2 nice races in a row is what I'm getting at. Even that Champagne, decent effort. He did look tired. It could, maybe something happened to him. I have no idea, but he kind of dropped anchor pretty badly at the top of the stretch. That's not a good sign moving forward for this horse for the Kentucky Derby. Maybe they'll try to stretch or cut him back, I should say. Maybe in the Gotham. That might be a really good race for him. Of course, with the Jerome kind of being the unofficial prep for the Gotham, with both of those being at a mile. Maybe that's where they'll try with that horse. I think that would make a lot of sense after this effort. So anyway, that's kind of how I felt about the Remsen. I was pretty happy with picking Paladin, obviously, and Renegade, but also just kind of happy that it ran 1-2, kind of how I had it handicapped there. So that doesn't happen, it's not easy, and it doesn't happen all that often. So you celebrate it here in racing when you get victories like that. So anyway, all right. So let's go now to the top 5s. And like I said, John White's debut top 5. So I'll go first, and then we'll get to John, since he's kind of debuting his top 5 for this season. And I'll start number 5, Mr. AP. I kept him in. I think he's earned it. Hitting the board at the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, coming off of a win and a maiden special weight. This is a horse that, around 2 turns, he's done absolutely nothing wrong. So I think he deserves to be in it for another week. Number 4 is Renegade, 2nd in the Remsen. Of course, beat the Remsen winner 2 back in a maiden special weight. Now that race, actually, Paladin gets listed as the win. Renegade crossed the wire first, but got disqualified. Here's the weird thing about it. Renegade can run at a maiden special weight. He is technically not won a race yet. He's number 4 on the list, but I think we all can kind of decipher that, maybe he even shouldn't have been disqualified. He certainly didn't impede the winner. It was something that happened earlier in the race, which, whatever. You can disqualify him or not. It's not that, it's not, for me sitting here as a handicapper, it's not that big of a deal. I'm sure for the owner and the trainer, it's a big deal. And then, of course, he ran really, really well in the Remsen. And also, again, and I'll give Curtis Callaward from FanDuel TV, I'll call him by his official name, not Magic, that he was here at the Racing Dudes. He was quick to point that out to me, too, about the missing works. And he's like, I don't know. I'm a little skeptical. So what I'm trying to say is I think he'll get better as we go. Number 3 is Paladin. He was very impressive to me. I really loved the last, 100 yards of the race where he galloped away from him there really strongly. So I was impressed. I was really impressed with Paladin. He debuts, I should say, at number 3 for me. Number 2, Napoleon Solo, winner of the Champagne. He's 2 for 2. Talkin' didn't run very well. In our time didn't run very well either. They're behind him, but they were way behind him, right? If it was closer, I would kind of dock him for that, but I'm not going to dock him. I think he's number 2 here. He's shown, really, really just a burst, I would say, at the top of the stretch after putting himself in really good position in 2 races. So he'll stay number 2 for me. And of course, Ted Noffey, number 1 for me once again this week. Ted Noffey, coming in 4 for 4 as a 2-year-old. Just impressive victories each and every time. The hopeful, the Breeders Futurity, and the Breeders Cup Juvenile. So he's number 1 for me once again. So to review: 5, Mr. AP; 4, Renegade; 3, Paladin; 2, Napoleon Solo; and number 1, Ted Noffey. All right, let's get to John's top 5. I'll go through the top 5 first, and then I'll read his commentary after. And then I'll comment on his commentary after as well. So a lot to go over here. Sometimes I love to read something that John writes and then not pick it apart. That's not the right word, but just kind of go, yeah, okay, I'll reiterate. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know. We'll see on that kind of thing. That's just like when I used to read his articles, that's what I would do. And, you know, most of it I would sit there and agree with, but there'd be some points. So it's kind of fun for me, and you know, maybe you can kind of do the same as I read through it. So number 5 is Universe. For John, of course, back-to-back second place finishers there. A nice horse, no doubt about it. Universe there at number 5. He has Napoleon Solo at number 4. So I have him 2. He has him 4. So yeah, no argument there. Number 3 for him is Renegade. I've got Renegade 4, John 3. Number 2, Paladin. He was very impressed with Paladin. I'll read about it here in a second. And then number 1 was Ted Noffey. All right, let's start to read the commentary, and I'll kind of keep the horses listed as I talk about the ones he's talking about. With Ted Noffey, this is John White. He said, I have a Ted Noffey a number 1, despite the fact that only 2 Breeders' Cup Juvenile winners have ever gone on to win the Kentucky Derby, those being Street Sense and Nyquist. I'll pause for a second. This is my commentary here. He did not have Citizen Bull on top last year. One of the reasons was he was not confident that he could win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and the Kentucky Derby. Now, if you were watching last year and you remember that, you might think, well, why would that be that he's confident this year, at least as of December 8th? Well, here you go. John will explain it to you. Back to John's words. Why do I have Ted Noffey number 1 despite the poor Kentucky Derby record by Breeders' Cup Juvenile winners? Well, I'm willing to do it mainly because Ted Noffey looks like he's a very talented equine athlete. It appears to me that he's exceptional in that he has a lot of gears. The way I see it, Ted Noffey just might have what it takes to follow the footsteps of Street Sense and Nyquist. So the answer is simple. He thinks Ted Noffey's a lot better horse than Citizen Bull, and he's probably proven that to be true. So, yeah, that is his thoughts on Ted Noffey. All right, now let's keep going here. Beyond Ted Noffey, I think there is a lot to like about both the Remsen winner Paladin and the Remsen runner-up Renegade. I have ranked them 2nd and 3rd. Paladin won the Remsen despite losing a shoe and sustaining a cut on his hind leg. Trainer Chad Brown says Paladin is a serious horse, and I agree. So just real quick on that, I did read the comments. This is me talking again. I did read the comments, and Chad Brown doesn't throw that around all that often. So will this horse develop? Will he continue to develop? That's nobody knows, but Chad really likes this horse. So that is very interesting to me. He goes on to talk about Napoleon Solo next. Napoleon Solo at number 4 is 2 for 2. Napoleon Solo made his opponent say uncle when he won the Champagne by more than 6 lengths. And then finally, finishing 3rd in the Champagne was Universe, the number 5 horse for John, and it's Universe who rounds out my first Kentucky Derby top 5 for 2026. Not only did Universe come home with gusto when he ran 2nd to further ado in the Kentucky Jockey Club, I especially loved Universe's big gallop out after the finish. You go back and watch that. Yes, Universe did make up a lot of ground on further ado in the Kentucky Jockey Club. All right, that's John White's top 5. You know, no arguments for me. I think that's a good list. I kind of stopped when I had a couple things to say there during his commentary, so I don't have much else. I think, you know, we see it pretty similar. Our top 4 are the same, just in different order, different 5th horse, but on December 8th, I don't know really what that means one way or another. Not that big of a deal. We both left Further Ado off this week. Of course, I don't know what John had him to begin with. You know, last week I had him number 5, and look, I mean, I still think Further Ado could be really good. I just wasn't overly impressed with the Kentucky Jockey Club. So, and look, John has Universe out of the Kentucky Jockey Club. So kind of, I just didn't like how Further Ado finished up that race. He's a 2-year-old. It's early. He could finish up real well at Fairgrounds or Oaklawn. Let's assume where he's going to go next. And we go, oh, okay, he's back on. So it's not that big of a deal here on December 8th. All right, that's the list. We talked about the Remsen. the Los Alamitos Futurity. This is where I'd love to put up the graphic. It says Los Alamitos Futurity and give you the horses running in it. But Los Al, one of the few tracks left that have this idea that we should draw Saturday races on Wednesday afternoon. So I don't have anything for you. I will have a free full preview of that race coming up, though, a separate video, probably coming out Wednesday night, Thursday morning, whenever that race comes out. We will have it ready for you. All right, guys, that'll do it for this week. We'll analyze the Los Alamitos Futurity next week. We'll have new top 5 lists as well. So a lot to look forward to, guys. And I keep saying, hey, it's heating up. It really is. I mean, we're seeing good performances here into December. All right, guys, thanks everybody for watching. Hit that like button if you like it. Hit subscribe if you really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, come back next week for another Kentucky Derby update.